Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a big update here. Um, Two big updates actually. We have I hate fucking ads. I'm on the Examiner trying to get this article up, and of course there's a million fuck Staples fucking. All right, but anyway, sorry for that slight distraction there. So we've got, I was watching the Alex Jones show today, and they had this doctor on that was basically saying the U.S. is covering up Ebola. It was a very shocking interview. It was like 15 minutes long. Go watch it. It's a very interesting interview, and actually the Examiner made an article about it. And good job, Examiner. I'm not a big supporter of mainstream media, but good job, Examiner, of covering this. Whoever was the writer, Rebecca Warsham, good job, writing an article about this and covering it. Because I'm sure the other mainstream media news sites won. I mean, I saw they had it on Drudge and shit. Um, and also, you've got the fourth Ebola patient in New York, who was, holy shit, he was bowling last night on Wednesday night. Today's Thursday night. I'm probably gonna upload this video sometime on Friday, but he was bowling. And let me just put this iPad down. When you're bowling, playing a sport, you get all sweaty, especially there's a lot of people in the bowling alley. It's a big place. It's probably, it's actually pretty cold, so I mean, it's probably not going to be too hot in there, but there's a lot of people in there. So, I mean, you're probably going to get really sweaty. You're touching everything, the bowling balls, oh my god. And then he took the Uber train back. Holy shit, this is... this is not good, people. Not good at all. He took the fucking train back, and he was fucking. Oh my! This is gonna get out of control, people. You better fucking, at least prepare. And I'm not, you're just fear mongering. Well, look at the situation here. We got open borders. We got planes coming in from Ebola-stricken areas. We got people with Ebola coming in here. So it's fucking just crazy. And the government's literally letting it spread, not doing anything to stop it. It's ridiculous, people. It's fucking ridiculous. And now the doctor comes out and say, yeah, they're covering up Ebola cases, which is perfectly logical here. If you just use your fucking brains, people. So, reportedly 2 people got it from Eric Duncan, whatever, Thomas Duncan, whatever the fuck that guy's name was. And, why did just those, all the fucking, they had all the gear on and shit, but the family didn't get it? That's what I'm wondering. How did the family not get it, but the nurses got it? That's what I'm wondering. Just a question. Just a logic, not coming to conclusions, just a logical, I have a lot of logical questions. That just so happens those 2 people who got it were associated with the most popular Ebola patient that we've seen. Yeah, they brought in some Ebola patients to treat here, but we haven't heard of anybody who's got it from those people. So I'm just questioning. It's always good to question. God even said it's good to question shit in the Bible. So let me cover this article here from the Examiner. I'm going to read the whole thing. It's just too important to just... I was going to highlight stuff, but it's just too important. I'm going to read the whole thing. If you fucking want to read it yourself, then just fast forward through. But I feel like I got to read this whole thing and get this information out here. A well-known and highly respected doctor came forth with claims that the U.S. has been intentionally concealing cases of Ebola in the U.S. Dr. James Lorenzi made the comments Thursday on the Alex Jones show. Jones, the host of a nationally broadcast radio talk show InfoWars, has been an outspoken critic of the way in which the Ebola health crisis has been handled by the Obama administration. Lorenzi, who owns and operates 2 healthcare facilities located in Garden City and Archie, Missouri, claims that the number of Ebola patients in the U.S. is much higher than the CDC has been letting out. According to Lorenzi, his suspicions first arose shortly after news that Thomas Duncan, a Liberian visiting family in Dallas, was diagnosed with a deadly disease in September. Lorenzi claims that he was told by a doctor at Truman Lakewood Medical Center in KC Kansas City, that the hospital was also treating a patient with Ebola-like symptoms who was demonstrating a high fever and was bleeding profusely from multiple orifices, and after having received I can't fucking read now. After having recently returned from West Africa. So if this, I hear all this, like, it's in the news that this person died on the way back from I believe it was Liberia. It was either I'm almost 100% sure it was Liberia. It was an Ebola-stricken country. They died on the way back there, and then they said it wasn't Ebola. Like that, people just don't die on planes like that. You know, that that brings up major concerns right there. That somebody dies on the plane from Liberia to fucking um, JFK. Yeah, we don't hear that in the mainstream news. You know, we're too busy talking about fucking other things. You know, and like why won't they cover that? Let me continue here. Where did I leave off here? Stopped in the middle of a paragraph. Um, the following day, claims Lewinsky, the same doctor told him that the patient had disappeared, but that it was highly unlikely that the patient could have left on his own, left of his own. I think I meant to say, I think that might be a typo. The patient could have left. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be on his own, according on his own accord, given his grave medical condition. Another patient displaying classic Ebola-like symptoms was then admitted to Kansas City's Research Medical Center the following day, but was also quickly disappeared, said Lewinsky. Neither patient has ever been found. These patients are disappearing. They're doing something with the patients, and God knows what they're doing, the doctor said. Lewinsky said he did not know why the federal government would be intentionally trying to hide the number of patients infected with Ebola, or where they may be taking the infected patients to, but speculated that the cover-up may be carried out by the CDC as a means of preventing panic. They're preparing for something, the doctor added, conjecturing that the illness may be used by the Obama administration as a means of implementing a medically induced martial law. The doctor's suspicions were validated, he said, when health officials told workers at his health clinics that they were not to use the term Ebola when dealing with the public. Whoa, like you can't use the term Ebola. We heard this too. The police in 911, if there's 911 calls, they cannot use the word Ebola. The police people and the 911 people cannot use the word Ebola. Like, really? Why not? So then, Dr. Lewinsky's claims mesh with the reports published by the New York Post, who recently broke the story. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That New York City's 911 operators have been banned from using the term Ebola over public radios. According to the Post report, a NYFD, New York Fire Department, memo dictates that all employees refrain from using the word effective immediately. At no point shall dispatcher transmit over the radio any message containing the word Ebola or related terminology, said the memo. Instead, dispatchers have been told to use the code letters FT, as in fever/travel, to communicate that a person for which 911 has been called is demonstrating a fever and has a history of travel to West Africa. When flu season hits, people are going to be coming into the hospital for flu or Ebola. They're not going to know what they have. It's going to be a nightmare. Every doctor I've spoken with is terrified of this fall, said Lewinsky. This doctor ended the interview by urging people to stay away from places where there's large groups of people, including hospitals, he said, as the situation was much more serious than they're letting on. So they call people. This doctor just comes out and right there says they're covering up the number of cases of Ebola. They're disappearing patients from hospitals. He thinks this is a big deal. And this isn't fear-mongering. This is just giving you facts of what a doctor said. What a top doctor, as the Examiner called him, said. This isn't no fear-mongering bullshit, alright, people? I've said this before. I'm not scared of the Ebola. Alright, I'm not scared of getting Ebola. Alright? Because even if the worst case scenario, I would say, hundreds of thousands of people in America get it, worst case scenario, maybe 1 million. But even if 1 million people get it, even if 5 million or 10 million people get it, chances are I'm not going to get it. Alright? Even if 1 million people get it, that's 1 in 300 million. So the chances are very slim that I'm gonna get it myself. What I'm more worried about is the public response to the Ebola outbreak. Will the government implement martial law? Will they implement forced vaccines? Will they implement, FEMA camps? Will they implement, or will the economy collapse? You know, so that's what I'm worried about the most. And then also, I mean, people dying too. That's always bad. Like if hundreds of thousands, that's obviously a bad thing. But me myself, I'm not really worried too much about getting it. Um, so I mean, there you go though. I mean, he just said they're covering up in the government. Yeah, they're really truthful. You know, they're really fucking truthful. Yeah, they're fucking liars. You think they're fucking telling the truth? I think there's. If I had to bet on it, and in my gut, I get the feeling that there's more Ebola cases than 4. And why would they do this? In my opinion, they would do this, because if they announce all the Ebola cases, let's say there's 50, then people would start really getting scared and maybe start prepping for this Ebola outbreak. But if they keep it under wraps and say there's 4, people are like, oh, it's no big deal, it'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's fucking hundreds have Ebola. Then people aren't going to be prepared. They're going to be fucking, pandemonium, and it's going to, be crazy. So I think this is it's not really confirmed. You cannot say it's confirmed that they're covering this up, but I think there's a high probability that they are, with this doctor saying. And I also heard the head of the retired border patrol people also said they're disappearing people who the CDC is. So this is crazy, people. This is getting out of control, and it's time that you guys wake up and stop fucking around with. I saw this thing on TMZ where they were demonizing Hillary Clinton protesters. Like, oh, there's only 7 people protesting her. Well, at least they're goddamn trying, alright? TMZ. While you're sitting on your asses fucking, analyzing celebrities when that don't mean shit in the real world. Oh, Kim Kardashian's ass. Oh, Justin Bieber. Fuck, shut up, people. You don't fucking get it, alright? There's bigger issues in the world than fucking Justin Bieber, Kim Kardashian. TMZ thinks there's a shit because they cover celebrities. You are shit because you cover celebrities, actually. You fucking suck, TMZ. Fuck you for demonizing Hillary Clinton supporters. So this Ebola thing, I mean, when the winter comes, I think that's really when I predicted at least 10,000 cases in my Ebola predictions video, and I think it's gonna get there, obviously, because I predicted it. But I mean, again, let me just wrap this up by saying, call me a fear monger, but I'm not fear mongering. I just presented you with facts, people. All right, and I think these facts that I'm presenting you with give you a good reason to fear that these Ebola cases are gonna not fear the Ebola, as I was saying, but fear the public response to this Ebola thing, and also encourage Obama and encourage other people to close the flights and actually take measures to stop this. Because if they don't, I mean, it's going to get out of control. So, there you go, people. I mean, this is just getting crazy. It's time to wake up. Get out of your fucking trances, people. And actually do some shit to provide for your society instead of just sitting back watching YouTube videos all day and doing nothing. So there you go, people.